Now we'll be discussing the residential status of Hindu undivided family. We have HUF basically. It can be resident and it can be non-resident. And in resident we have R and OR, resident and ordinary resident, resident and not ordinary resident. Now here in case of Hindu undivided family, the residential status depends upon the control and management. In case the control and management of the affairs of HUF is situated wholly or partly in India, in case the control and management of the affairs of the HUF, business affairs of the HUF, the same is situated wholly or partly in India, then HUF is said to be what? Resident in India. If control and management says wholly or partly in India, then HUF is said to be what? Resident in India. HUF is said to be resident in India if the control and management is wholly or partly in India. And in case if the control and management of its affairs is situated wholly outside India, if control and management of the affairs is situated wholly outside India, then HUF is said to be what? Non-resident. Then a resident HUF becomes not ordinarily resident if the Karta of the HUF, satisfies the conditions which have been listed under section 66B. That is, he must be non-resident in 9 out of 10 years preceding the previous year. He must be what? Non-resident in 9 out of 10 years preceding the previous year. Or he is in India for a period of 729 days or less during the 7 years preceding the previous year. So a resident HUF becomes not ordinarily resident. Resident HUF becomes not ordinarily resident if Karta or the manager satisfies one or both of the following additional conditions. That is kya? He has been non-resident in 9 out of 10 years immediately preceding the previous year, or he has been in India for 729 days or less during what? 7 years immediately preceding the previous year. Now the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, they have listed the additional conditions. They have basically made their own conditions and they have reversed the additional conditions which are given in section 6.6, and they have made the additional conditions for resident and ordinarily resident. Now here, the status of residential status of HUF is what? If the control and management of its affairs is situated wholly or partly in India? Bola, no, the control and management of affairs is not wholly or partly in India. In such case, HUF is said to be what? Non-resident. In such case, HUF is said to be non-resident. Bola, yes, the control and management of the affairs is, say, wholly or partly in India. Then they say that if the Karta is resident in at least 2 out of 10 years preceding the previous year, or he is in India for a period of 729 days or more, 730 days or more during what? 7 years preceding the previous year. What we were telling the additional condition under 6.6 was he is non-resident in 9 out of 10 years preceding the previous year. This was our additional condition. If Karta satisfies that, he becomes NOR. But he wants that he must become resident and ordinarily resident. So we have to say he must not satisfy what? This condition. We have to reverse this condition. He is resident in 2 out of 10 years preceding the previous year. This is the reverse part. That if he is resident in 2 out of 10 years, then how many years he is NR? He is NR only for a period of what? 8 years. We cannot satisfy our condition, this condition. So then there was one second condition. We told you that he must be in India for 729 days or less. During what? 7 years preceding the previous year. He is in India for a period of 729 days or less during what? 7 years preceding the previous year. Now in this case, if we want that he must not, if he satisfies this condition, he becomes NOR. We want that he must not satisfy this condition. So the second condition which they have made is he must be in India for a period of 730 days or more. 730 days or more during 7 years preceding the previous year. To be resident and ordinarily resident. This is for resident but not ordinarily resident. So fundamentally, if these two additional conditions which the institute has mentioned, they reverse the additional conditions which are there in section 6.6 for resident but not ordinarily resident, and they have made the additional conditions for resident and ordinarily resident. If we satisfy these two additional conditions, HUF becomes resident and ordinarily resident. If we do not satisfy these two conditions, then HUF becomes R and NOR. In our case, if he satisfies any one of the two additional conditions, that is, he is non-resident in 9 out of 10 years preceding the previous year, and he is in India for a period of 729 days or less during 7 years preceding the previous year. Any one of the two additional conditions which we have listed, then the HUF becomes resident but not ordinarily resident. This was about the residential status of HUF. Then relating to partnership firm, AOP, BOI, local authority, artificial juridical person. Relating to them, the person is said to be resident in India when the control and management of business affairs is wholly or partly situated in India. In case the control and management of the business affairs is wholly or partly situated in India, then this partnership firm or AOP or BOI or local authority or artificial juridical person is said to be resident in India. So such person is resident in India if the control and management of its affairs is situated wholly or partly in India. And in case the control and management of the affairs is wholly outside India, if control and management of the affairs is wholly outside India, then these entities will be what? Non-resident. Then these entities basically will be non-resident. Then in case of company, it can be an Indian company, it can be foreign company. Indian company is what? Always resident in India. Indian company is always resident in India, and foreign company is said to be resident in India where place of effective management of that foreign company is in India during the previous year. So are you getting? Indian company is always resident in India. A company is said to be resident in India in any previous year if it's an Indian company. According to section 6.3, Indian company is always resident in India. Whereas a foreign company is said to be resident in India if its place of effective management in that year is in India. And what place of effective management is where the key management decisions, key management and commercial decisions takes place. So fundamentally, place of effective management means a place where the key management and commercial decisions that are necessary for the conduct of the business of the entity as a whole are in substance made. So that is basically the place of effective management. So a company is said to be resident in India in case it is an Indian company. Is the company an Indian company? Bolo, yes. If it's an Indian company, then the company is said to be resident in India. Bolo, is the company an Indian company? Bolo, no. Then you go for the place of effective management of that foreign company. If the place of effective management of the company in that previous year is in India, then that company is said to be what? Resident in India. And in case the place of effective management of the company is not in India, then the company is said to be what? Non-resident for the relevant previous year. Now we discuss one question which was asked in PCC for 2 marks. Mr. X, a Karta of HUF, claims that the HUF is non-resident as the business of HUF is transacted from UK and all the policy decisions are taken there. So in this case, if control and management of the business affairs of HUF, if the control and management of the business affairs of HUF is wholly outside India, hence HUF is said to be non-resident. In this case, HUF is said to be what? Non-resident. So here the claim of HUF is correct, the claim of Karta is correct, because here all the business of the HUF is transacted from UK. The next question is XYZ Inc. is incorporated in Cayman Islands. Its key management and commercial decisions are taken in board meetings held at Mumbai during the financial year. So here XYZ Inc. is a foreign company. Here key management and commercial decisions are taken in board meeting held in Mumbai. Hence the place of effective management, hence the place of effective management is in India. Since the place of effective management is in India, during the relevant previous year, hence XYZ Inc. is said to be what? Resident in India. Here the XYZ Inc. will be what? Is said to be resident in India. One more question is there. Lotus Inc., a US company headquartered at New York, not having PE in India, it's not having a permanent establishment, is set up a liaison office in Delhi They have set up a liaison office in Delhi in April 2020 in compliance with the RBI guidelines to look after day-to-day business operations in India, spread awareness about the company's products and explore further opportunities. So they have set up, say, liaison office has been set up. That has been set up. And here, the liaison office is doing day-to-day operations. This is not taking any key management and commercial decisions. Here, significant management and commercial decisions are in substance made at Board of New York. This key management and commercial decisions are taking where they are taken place. These key management and commercial decisions, they are taking place in New York. So here, the place of effective management of Lotus Inc. is in New York. Place of effective management is where? In New York. Hence, Lotus Inc. is non-resident in India. Lotus Inc. will be regarded as what? Non-resident in India. So this was about how you will be determining the residential status. So under section 6, and depending upon the residential status, the scope of total income is there. So in our next lecture, we'll be discussing scope of total income, that is tax incidence. Basically depends upon what? The residential status, which will be discussed by us in our next lecture.